Coming up on this edition of NICB News. The camera doesn't lie. We check in with the Dallas Police Department's new program that involves leaving decoy vehicles with valuables inside them that can be tracked when stolen.
We're not getting the kid going home from school, oh, that's a neat device, let me just get this. We are getting career criminals.
Plus, these ponies are a hot item. We'll tell you which Mustang is the most stolen model in the past 10 years and how one dream came true for a Marine who had his Mustang stolen in 1982.
I promised my dad, who had passed away a number of years ago from Alzheimer's, that I was going to find the car before I died.
Also, we take a look at how the NICB is raising awareness of cargo theft and helping deter thefts of some very big money items. That's all next on NICB News. As NICB has noted in our Hot Wheels reports, for the past several years, auto thefts have been declining. As we showed you in an earlier NICB News report, the use of bait cars has helped law enforcement catch car thieves in the act and contributed to those reductions. So in Dallas, the police thought, why not kill two birds with one stone? Use the bait cars to catch car thieves and to catch the criminals who break into cars just to steal the valuables inside. Brian Dryfhout has the story.
The city of Dallas experiences roughly 18,000 burglary of motor vehicle thefts per year. That cost insurance companies over $20 million during that time frame. But now, thanks to a new bait program by the Dallas PD, the numbers are dropping and criminals may now be charged with felonies.
In 2010, Dallas was looking at what was driving the crime in Dallas. What was the major component of the crime? And we found that 87% of the crime that happens in Dallas is related to property crime. And we even looked further into that, and we saw that BMV, the burglary of a motor vehicle, accounted for most of those offenses.
For the past 8 years, Dallas has seen a reduction in property crime. The new BMV program has a lot to do with those numbers falling. The Dallas Police Department currently has 9 vehicles in the bait program. These cars are equipped with surveillance cameras and tracking devices and are placed in areas with high reports of auto thefts and are intended to grab the professional thieves.
We're not getting the kid going home from school, oh, that's a neat device, let me just get this. We are getting career criminals, and which is important because most people think, oh, this is a setup, this is a sting. This is not true. We are getting people that are habitual criminals.
These criminals sometimes can victimize an area or some city for 75 to 100 burglaries a day, or BMVs a day. One person off the street, one criminal off the street equals a crime reduction for us.
The criminals are now getting harsher punishments in Texas thanks to the proof provided by hidden cameras placed in these vehicles.
Because in Texas, burglary of a motor vehicle is a misdemeanor, and you cannot put them in jail or prosecute unless you have a fact witness. So that video inside the car actually will capture them removing the device, the bait, from the vehicle and then leaving. That is our fact witness.
A tracking device is also planted on the bait, like a laptop, for example, that is stolen from the vehicle.
And having that video, it's not so much that we can also track that laptop, but we actually have a suspect description, which is huge.
As for the actual bait, well, that depends on what kind of vehicle is being used and where it is being planted.
We have ranging from an old car up to a luxury car, from a work truck to a panel van.
Another advantage of this program? Cost savings for the city. The entire program has been funded by private-public partnerships.
One of the biggest costs, again, is the replacement of glass. The city of Dallas doesn't have the budget to replace each piece of glass that's broken. SafeLight, they've stepped up and fixed that glass for free at no cost to the police department.
We're not immune to theft ourselves. Our SafeLight Auto Glass vans have been broken into, our personal vehicles have been broken into, and so if we can contribute in some small way to helping to keep the streets of Dallas safer, then we're proud to be in this program.
Because the crime rates are dropping in Dallas, the insurance industry and its customers are also benefiting from this program.
In 2011, when we rolled out the Rattler BMV program, that resulted in almost $2 million in savings to the insurance industry.
We have funding from NICB. It's been huge. Without their support, we would not be here today if it weren't for their help. Chief Brown has made this a major commitment. He has added officers to the program. This is a major commitment for 2012.
We also see this being rolled out across the country in other major metropolitan areas. This isn't reinventing the wheel by using this for BMVs. We've used this technology, an older version of the technology, in bait car applications for many years.
For the National Insurance Crime Bureau, I'm Brian Dryfhout.
Thanks, Brian. Speaking of car theft, earlier this year, the NICB issued a special Hot Wheels Classics report focusing on the most stolen Ford Mustangs. That report showed that from 1981 through 2011, over 411,000 Mustangs were reported stolen. The following graph shows the top 10 most stolen Mustang model years during the years 2001 to 2011. Overall, over 91,000 Mustangs were stolen during that time frame. The top 10 accounts for over 45,000 thefts, or 50% of all the thefts during that 10-year period. One model that didn't make the top 10 was the 1965 Shelby GT-350. One of these models was stolen from Scott Evans back in 1982 when he was a Marine deployed overseas. Fast forward 25 years later to 2007 when an NICB agent contacted him that his car was recovered from a family who had possession of the car for 22 years. Evans was overjoyed when he was notified that his dream car, now valued at over $250,000, had been recovered. As a goodwill gesture, he cut the unsuspecting former owner of the car a check for $12,000 to pay for a new engine that was recently put in the vehicle.
It'd be only prudent to pay him for what he spent on the new engine and everything, because now I have the new engine and everything, and figured I'd have spent that much money in the last 25 years on engines anyway.
If you want to see the full story about this amazing recovery or to access the complete Mustang theft report, you can visit our website at www.nicb.org. Dallas has one of the largest inland ports in the United States, and as you can see by the fence around this mammoth facility, the cargo, once it gets here, is pretty safe. It comes from places like the Port of Houston or Los Angeles. It's before it gets here or after it leaves that presents the risk. Because so much cargo moves through Texas by truck, the state now holds the #2 spot among all states for the most cargo thefts reported to CargoNet each year. That's one of the main reasons that NICB hosted a cargo summit and training program in Dallas in February. More than 240 representatives from the insurance industry, law enforcement, trucking firms, railroads, and retailers came to hear the latest on efforts to fight the cargo theft problem.
The NICB's in this for the right reason. You know, we really want to have an impact and be a contributing partner to dealing with insurance fraud and vehicle crimes. And cargo theft is one of the biggest insurance crimes there are. And we can't do it alone. It takes everybody in this room working together to do that.
Stealing a load of TVs or cell phones is bad enough, but a load of drugs or perishable food presents another hazard.
It's also a threat to the health of most of us Americans. If they steal a load of pharmaceuticals, I don't know, but I can almost be rest assured that they're really not going to spend a lot of time making sure those pharmaceuticals are put under the proper temperature conditions. You know, they look for trucks that have refrigeration units because it's either foodstuffs or it's pharmaceuticals. So when they steal it, what they want is the load, and then they want to turn it into money. So if they're not properly refrigerating the medication that's in there and then they're selling it on the black market or however they're getting rid of it, you can understand the magnitude of the health problem that some of the Americans are finding as they try to buy some of these medications cheaper and cheaper.
Unfortunately, the total impact of cargo theft is unknown, since many thefts are never reported by transportation companies who are self-insured and simply consider the loss part of the cost of doing business. 2012 marks NICB's 100th anniversary. Let's take a look back at how it all began.
Your note, Jack Kennedy.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
On a Monday morning in the summer of 1912, a man with a piece of wood and very limited resources did a very big thing. Fred Souter, the Chicago office manager of the Boston Insurance Company, was notified that one of his firm's Chalmers vehicles had been stolen. Back in those days, car dealerships would provide a stamped woodcut print of the stolen vehicle model to insurers so that they could prepare reward offers. Souter obtained a woodcut of the vehicle from the local dealership and began the process of preparing a reward notice that would be mailed out. Later that same morning, he received a call from another insurance company that one of their Chicago area Chalmers vehicles had been stolen. The local Chalmers dealership told the agent there to contact Souter and to use his woodcut of the vehicle, since he had the only one that existed in the Chicagoland area. Then, out of coincidence, Souter received another phone call that same morning from another agent, requesting use of the woodcut because one of their vehicles had been stolen too. Souter then got the idea that it would be more efficient if he included all three vehicles in one single reward bulletin, reducing mailing and preparation costs. Well, that one thought ultimately turned into the National Automobile Theft Bureau, which later merged in 1992 with the Insurance Crime Prevention Institute to form what is now the National Insurance Crime Bureau. For over 100 years, the NICB has been the nation's premier not-for-profit organization dedicated exclusively to fighting vehicle theft and insurance fraud, and is the only organization in the United States that convenes the collective resources needed to prevent, detect, and deter these crimes. The NICB is supported by more than 1,100 property and casualty insurers, car rental companies, parking companies, auto auctions, claims administrators, and self-insured organizations. Looking back to our roots with Fred Souter and his woodcut imprint of the Chalmers automobile, he likely never dreamed how far his fundamental idea of sharing crime-related information would travel 100 years later. He didn't foresee the advent of all claims databases, envision the extraordinary popularity of online training academies, imagine using Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to communicate anti-crime messages, or predict we would be using advanced data analytics to investigate international criminal conspiracies. But what he did have on that Monday morning in the summer of 1912 was a vision of an industry working together to do the right thing. It's a vision that we have focused on for 100 years and are still committed to as we begin our second century of serving the American people. Have you ever suspected someone is committing insurance fraud? Do you have an iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad? If so, you can now download the NICB Tips app from iTunes for free. This new feature allows you to submit anonymous insurance fraud and crime tips to the NICB, similar to our Tip 411 text application. Tips can be responded to in real time during normal business hours and creates an instant two-way live chat with NICB personnel. This very simple interface makes it easy to send a tip and even pictures, and it's all free. Just search NICB Tips in iTunes and download it now. Also, since 1937, NICB has been producing an annual passenger vehicle identification manual to assist law enforcement, insurance companies, and others in determining the history and authenticity of a vehicle. Now, for the first time, we are offering a compilation of every manual produced from 1937 through 2011. Available on CD in a searchable PDF format, this can be searched by year or make of vehicle. These CDs are available to purchase on our website at nicb.org. And finally, earlier this year, the NICB took home the Association Trends Gold Award for our 2010 annual report. Michelle Curtis, Marketing Director for NICB, was on hand in Washington, D.C. to accept this award on behalf of the company. That's it for this edition of NICB News. We'll have another quarterly update for you in June. But remember, you can always keep up to date with what's going on in the world of insurance fraud and crime by logging onto our website at www.nicb.org or by joining our discussions on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, as well as viewing our YouTube channel and reading our blog at nicbblog.org. I'm Roger Morris. Thanks for watching.